Alright all, and welcome back to a new video and the Day 2 final selections preview for the Cheltenham Festival 2021. Day 1 video went up last night. The Day 2 video is going up tonight, Monday night. Probably doesn't make much sense considering everyone will be wanting to know about Tuesday, but it's just the way I'm doing the videos because it's fresh in the mind, the declarations are out and all that good stuff. Just to clear things up, because I know from last night's video there was just a little bit of I suppose people not quite understanding, I suppose the thought of final selections and what that means. For me, it's just almost kind of tidying up all the bets from this year and kind of how they've treated me, I suppose. And there are, as I've said in the previous video, I'm looking to be as transparent as possible in terms of the non-runners that I put up, the non-runner no back, horses, the horses that I did back earlier in the year, and that's the reason why. And I suppose, I'm not going to put up horses, at their current prices if I have backed them at bigger prices and I've advertised them for doing so. So that maybe just clears that up a little bit. I understand that some people were maybe a little bit confused by it, but it's kind of a final selections of all of my kind of musings for the year, I suppose, put into one. So I hope you did enjoy the Day 1 preview, and if you are watching this on Tuesday night, hopefully, we'd have backed a winner or two by now, but you might be watching this on Monday night. Therefore, we're really getting enthused about Cheltenham tomorrow morning. Starting off with Day 2, though, as similar enough to Day 1, there's a couple of races I'm going to play two in. There's one where I'm playing 3 in. I don't mind that. It's Cheltenham. These are open races. Starting off with the Ballymore, I put up in the Day 2 preview video Bravemansgame at 9-2, and the market's finally corrected itself slightly, and he's into 11-4. He's still third in the betting. It's only a 7-runner race. It's not an each-way race for me. I don't see an each-way angle into it. I think it's between the top 3 in the market, personally speaking. I've been quite keen on Bravemansgame all year. I still think out of the 3, he's the one I'd back the most. But I am going to put a saver in there. And I was humming and hawing about putting this saver in the Day 2 official preview. And I know people might say it's a bit of a cop-out, but and hopefully we don't get done by the other one of the 3, but I am going to put a saver on Bob Olinger in this. 15-8 best price you can get him now. I have slightly missed the price on that. I do think he's the better of the 2 Irish horses. I really like him. He's a lovely type of horse. He was super in the Lowlers and Ace race, and I have been fearful of him, even though I've been with Bravemansgame all year. So hopefully between the 2 of them we might crack a winner. Look, if you have a tenner on one and a tenner on the other, if one of them comes in, you'll be well up on the race. So hopefully it is Bravemansgame, just for my own, I suppose, ego point of view. But I have always been I've been wary of Bob Olinger, and I'm wary of Gerhard as well, obviously. You could not be. I'd be very surprised if something came and beat all 3, especially from the rest. Bear Gills, Kescon Risk, I don't see that. I don't see them really landing a telling blow. But that being said, Gerhard could well do so, but I'm going to take the other 2 against him. Bravemansgame at 9-2 back in February, and Bob Olinger at 15-8 today. The Brown Advisory Novices Chase and AntePost docket, unfortunately down the scoobs with latest exhibition at 16-1. I was thinking just closer to the time, I wasn't sure whether Paul Nolan and team, would they roll the dice? They haven't done so. They're staying for Fairy House. I can completely understand their rationale for doing so. It's still very frustrating, but look, they'd had it all to do to beat Monkfish. It's a race probably not going to play in terms of having a bet, but from a selection point of view, it's just Monkfish at 4-7. I believe he wins. It's a hard race. It's only the 6 runners. It seems to be a bit of a scribbly-scrabbly race to be scratching around the without market. If you pin me down, I'd maybe go with Cladereer, but I do think he needs a bit of softer ground. The big breakaway has his jumping issues. Fiddler on the Roof could run a decent race. All of them are a little bit of a muchness, but hopefully it's one to just sit back, relax, and watch Monkfish do the business. The Coral Cup, a long-term fancy of mine. I put up non-runner no bet back in January time, Koshari at 20-1. Or it might have been it was early February because it was after the Dublin Racing Festival when he got a kind of fairly nondescript ride in the William Fry handicap hurdle. He's cottoned into being a bit of a wise guy's horse. He's currently 8-1. Look, it's a fair price. I think he's got just as good a chance as the likes of a Grangee in there. There's other, well handicapped horses, no doubt. And I think even the top weight Thomas Darby wouldn't be without his chance. Even though he does have to shoulder a mammoth weight. Koshari's in there of a mark 146. Thomas Darby's kind of propping up the weights for him, which is absolutely ideal. Paul Townend has chosen to ride him. And also Willie Mullins had a few very interesting horses declared or, entered in the Coral Cup. The likes of Great White Shark, My Sister Sarah, who have all gone and taken up the mare's hurdle option. So maybe they think they've got something in this. And I think Koshari hopefully will go very close. The other one I'm going to add into the mix is a little bit of a cliff horse of mine, and he's also come in for a little bit of money recently, and it's Botox Has for Gary Moore and Josh Moore, sorry. I liked him last year. I thought he was a really good juvenile last year. I was really excited to seeing him run at Aintree in the Grade 1, but obviously Aintree all got abandoned and he didn't get to show us what he was made of. Then I thought he was super impressive on his reappearance when he beat All Mankind at Cheltenham over 2 miles. And since then it's all kind of gone awry, really, and I don't know whether they've had a long-term target in motion for this horse, or whether he's just lost his kahunas, really, because he was poor enough. He came 4th in the Jerry Fielden hurdle, and he's been down the field in 2 Ascot handicaps since. I think he does have to improve on that form, but as a result, he finds himself quite well handicapped. 14-1, 6 places is what I'm going to take. He's in here of 142. Koshari, by the way, just for transparency, was put up with 5 places. So it's 5 places for Koshari and 6 places for Botox Has at 14-1. I think you can get 12-1, 7 places about Botox Has. I think I saw that with one bookie, but no, I'm going to take the 14-1, 6 places, and hopefully him and Koshari can run well for us in the Coral Cup. Moving on to the Champion Chase. The horse I really, really want to see win this year is Chacun Poursois. I'm going to put him in, even though he is 10-11. I'll be backing him at 10-11. I've been humming and hawing about having an each way bet in the race. Obviously, Altior came out of the race this morning. It's a shame, but I can't say it's been overly surprising. It just seems to be in a fight against time for Altior the whole of this season, most of last year as well. And he's obviously not quite right. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing the horse being retired at this stage. He's done his dues. He's won plenty of massive races. 4-time Cheltenham Festival winner. You're surely not going to wheel him out as a 12-year-old next year. I suspect not for Cheltenham Festival. So he's not going to run at Cheltenham again. And does the horse not deserve to retire? Maybe they're eyeing up running him in a Melling Chase, or maybe even the Celebration Chase at Sandown at the end of the year, and hopefully finish on a win and then retire him. Perhaps that's the line of thinking. But anyway, that's me going off track. I don't think there's much of an each way bet in this. Maybe put the kettle on, but I'm not going to put her up. I want Chacun to win. The whole big idea behind each way betting is to try and find something that you believe can win, and I think if Chacun performs to his best, he wins, and therefore each way betting behind him I don't believe it's just not something I want to do. You can have I'm sure there's plenty out there that will put the kettle on, Nube Negra, Politolog, First Flow, they're all very good horses, and if Chacun's not on his A game, all of these horses have the ability to beat him, but if he turns up in the form I hope he will turn up in, I think he does win this race. The cross country is a race that's been a bit of a nightmare for me this year. I was really sweet on a Jas, who was a 10-1 selection, non-runner, no bet. Sorry, 17-2, I think. Or was it? No, 17-2 on the Road to Cheltenham Challenge with Barry. It was 10-1 on this channel. Non-runner, no bet. He's not a non-runner. Unfortunately, he was down to 4-1 by the time he was declared a non-runner, which is a shame. I'm prepared to take on Easy's Land. It's not a race I've much of a say in, to be honest, and I'm just going to have a few pokes each way instead. At 11-10, you're taking an awful lot of risk in your hands, I believe. It hasn't been an ideal prep. He doesn't really like better ground, and I know that the ground, before people start heckling me, the ground is soft today, but I think it's going to keep drying out as the week goes on, and even by Wednesday afternoon, it might be back to good to soft. I think this horse needs it to be as soft as possible to be seen to best effect. He may be just too good for these horses, and I completely understand that argument, but at 11 to 10 in a cross-country race, I'm not going to be taking those type of risks. Instead, I'm going to be backing some neck each way for John McConnell at 14 to 1. Dickie Johnson takes the ride. He won at the December meeting, beating Defi Dakar, and now Defi Dakar is in this race at 40 to 1. I just think some neck might be able to hold that form a little bit easier, especially on a bit of nicer ground. I think he's got a good chance. That's 4 places at 14 to 1. And the other one is a complete leap of faith, and really a heart over head selection, if I'm being perfectly honest. Considering I'm not usually a massive fan of horses that haven't been over the banks, especially around Cheltenham, but I'm going to give a small play to Alpha Days Obeaux at 16 to 1. He ran actually a much better race, I thought, at Punchestown the last day in the Grand National Trial. He shaped a lot better, jumped a lot better. I know they've been doing an awful lot of kind of cross-country schooling with the likes of Tiger Roll, Cruz Linen and himself. Cruz Linen obviously came out and won a handicap chase age 14 for Gordon Elliott, I think in the last couple of days before his licence was obviously given over to Denise Foster. Yeah, I'm just taking a small chance that kind of the cross country might just liven up the horse. He certainly has the back class to go close. It is a risk. It would be a very small stake for myself, but I'm going to play him at 16 to 1. The Grand Annual, nothing's really changed from what I said in the handicap video back on the 5th of March. With Embittered and Chosen Mate in this, Embittered was put up at 8 to 1, 5 places. He's currently 6 to 1, and Chosen Mate was 14 to 1. And is still 14 to 1, and you can find actually, he's 12 to 1 with some, but you can find 14 to 1 available. Both of them are 5 places. Look, Embittered, the chance stands with the Grade 1 form. Rachel Blackmore's on him for Joseph. Joseph is the top 2 in the market between himself and Intukas. I'm hoping Embittered might get the better of that duel, and obviously Chosen Mate. Jordan Gainford has been booked to ride, which was the last kind of little boost I needed to make sure that I really liked him. Taking £7 off. In effect, he's only £2 higher than he was winning the race last year. So I think he could go close alongside Embittered. I think they're 2 lively enough plays in the Grand Annual. The bumper I put up in the Day 2 preview, Sir Gerhard, when he was trained by Gordon Elliott at 3 to 1. Look, I'm going to let that bet settle, obviously. He's now in the care of Willie Mullins. Rachel Blackmore takes the ride, which is brilliant, and he's currently 2 to 1. So we've got a hint of value at 3s. But I'm going to play 2 at big prices each way, and I just have a feeling this champion bumper could not spring a surprise, but I just don't know. Like, the bumper can sometimes provide funny results, and Willie Mullins has such a good record in the race, not necessarily with his first string, so it wouldn't surprise me if one of these was to run a big race. Starting off with a mare that I've been heckled by one of my friends about for the last couple of weeks, ever since she won at the Dublin Racing Festival, and it is Grangee. I know based on her market racing form she'd have a fair bit to find in here, but I thought she did it quite well at Leopardstown in the Dublin Racing Festival, and Willie liked an awful lot of his horses in that, the likes of Brandy Love, Take Tea and Brooklyn Glory, all of whom wouldn't be 25 to 1, especially the likes of Brandy Love if she was running in this race, I don't believe. Grangee, every entitlement to take her chance. She may be a little bit short of the mark, but at 4 places I'm willing to take a chance that with Danny Mullins on board she might hunt away and be picking up pieces. And the other one is also trained by Willie Mullins. Brian Hayes takes the ride on Cool Jet at 33 to 1, and it takes a bit of a leap of faith to back him, but at 33 to 1 you can have a couple of quid each way on, and it's not going to cost you too much if it is just a bit of a disaster. But he was well touted before running at Christmas time, actually, at Leopardstown on Stephen's Day, and when he finished 4th with Patrick Mullins. There was a bit of a drift on the day, and I just wasn't sure whether he was kind of set that day, but he did go into that with a fairly tall reputation, and I think he went on to Thurles then, where Jodie Townend rode him, and he won by 5 lengths. And that wasn't any sort of a particularly special bumper, but it certainly, gave him an opportunity to go and run in a race like this in Willie Mullins' stable tour. With these 2 horses, he both said that they're both improving and they're both worth a chance at the race. And we've seen with the likes of Relegate and even Carefully Selected getting pinned on the line who wasn't first string. Mullins can sometimes have success with some of these bigger prices. you're taking, it's a couple of quid each way on these horses at 25 and 33s, 4 places. One of them hopefully might run well and run into the frame alongside the main bet, which is Sir Gerhard. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And of course, let me know your selections for the Wednesday racing. If you're seeing this on Monday night, we won't know what happened on Tuesday. If you're seeing it on Tuesday night, let us know how you did down below, and obviously give us your thoughts on Wednesday's racing. Do you think Chacun was the good thing? Who do you think is going to win the Ballymore? And is there something like Koshari, fingers crossed, that could be lurking in the Coral Cup? Let me know, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.